Okay, welcome to my book review presentation on the book Who Cares? Improving Public Schools Through Relationship and Cultural Services by Kelly Middleton and Elizabeth Petitt. Start off with a synopsis of the book. Okay, this book looks at public schools through a business lens. Okay, so it takes one basic business principle, public relations and customer service, and applies it to public schools. It does this in an argument to say that, hey, we need to start getting our kids back, or to keep them from going to our competitors, homeschool and private schools. As the book shows, those numbers are increasing, or the size of those businesses are increasing. We need to keep them here. Now, to emphasize the point of this need for customer service and public relations and public school advocates or advocacy, they compare public schools to Montgomery Ward. And they said they had a few things in common. Montgomery Ward, public schools, both view the market, view that they have a corner on the market, that they don't have any competition. We both know that's not true, or all. I guess it depends on how many people are watching. Also, it says employees tend to stay in the dark for both of them. They don't really know, Montgomery Ward public schools, they don't really know what's going on above them that much. And then last, they say that neither one of them are quick to offer change when things progress or when things do change, is that they're slow to get there, slow to do it. Now, Montgomery Ward went bankrupt and went out of business. And the authors are saying if we don't watch ourselves, we're going to start losing our customers. We may see the same fate in public schools. So let's break down my chapters. There are 6. Chapters 1 and 2 basically focus on the actions of the educational leader, what the educational leader needs to do. Now, they use a lot of tools, they give a lot of ideas, a lot of data collecting and this and that, but it really starts off and is based on the C's of leadership. Now, I'm going to give you the C's, keep up, there's a lot of them. Culture, champion, connect, challenge, communicate, collaborate, choice, commit, celebrate, challenge, and change. Excuse me. Now, I know that's a lot of C's to keep up with, but the beauty of this book, throughout the whole book, is that with each idea they give you or structure they give you a chart, a checklist, they give you an example, something that helps you implement it or apply it to your school district. Now, for the C's of leadership, they provided a chart with each C, they listed behaviors that the leader should exhibit to make these C's be effective and to put them into place. Chapters 4 and 5 focus on the role of the people within the school. Chapter 4 focuses mainly on the teacher. They use resources and statistics and surveys and research to show that the teachers need to know certain things. These things they need to know. How students prefer to see teachers. How students prefer the teachers see them. What students prefer the teachers do in the classroom. What students need to feel. And then also, kind of a side note to all of that, but still important in these chapters, with the effectiveness of home visits. And then they gave some guidelines and some best practices of doing home visits. And I thought that was beautiful, and that was one of the first things I saw it. I said, I'm snatching it, I'm using it, I'm taking it, I'm going to make this my own. I give them credit, but I'm going to use it. Chapter 5 started talking more about the other people in the building and talking about how their roles are really key to the establishment of collaborating partners with students or making relationships and really expanding this customer service. For example, secretaries, they're the first people to see any visitors that walk in. They answer the phones, they have to smile. They say the secretary needs to smile when they answer the phone because it comes through in your voice. They're their first impression. Talks about custodians, cafeteria workers going beyond their duties. Custodians, you clean, you do a great job of it, but expand the role, make relationships with the students. You talk to the visitors as they're walking through the building, greet them politely, those kinds of things. Cafeteria workers see almost every student in the building, especially at an elementary school. So That's an opportunity for one person to monitor a majority of the population. How do they look today? What do they need? Are they getting all the food they need? Do I need to touch base with them? They can build relationships with so many kids because they see them every day. Coaches. They talk in the book for coaches how to build effective collaboration with the parents on scheduling, on practices. Because especially in high school, you really need help from the parents. You need to get the kids to practice. You need to get a lot of, especially like baseball, you got to have a lot of materials for that. So you really got to be able to get in tune with your parents. What I love about this, exactly what I said earlier, I'm going to repeat it because I think it's very crucial to this book. They provide resources and guidelines and structures for every role that they talk about and how they can make their role the most effective and efficient and really commit themselves to creating relationships with students which will extend beyond to parents and to into our collaborative effort. Chapter 6 is the last chapter, and it just provides a school's guide for customer service initiatives. This is basically a checklist of 10 practices that help initiate effective customer service initiative. Now, on the checklist, because they got a lot of checklists, right? But this is good because with each checklist they have something like this. For this checklist, they have 2 examples or ideas for each practice. So I'm going to give you the practices, and then just be thinking, that's nice, but what do I do? Well, they tell you. They say, here's a book to read. Here's something you can do. Here's something to look for. So 10 practices. Hire the best people and train them. I love that one. 2, collect information about your practices. 3, monitor and evaluate your performance. 4, praise and reward appropriate behavior. Spend public relation resources and dollars on the internal public, on your own staff. Make facility maintenance a top priority. Give great customer service to employees. Look for ways to do extra little things to improve customer service. Keep backstage items backstage. If we're dealing with it and we don't need input and it's solved, they don't need to know all our drama, right? I think that's so important. And the last one is make connections and form relationships with customers. There's a lot in here if you really pay attention on spending money and resources and efforts and relationships and service internally. Building from the out in. I like that. And then finally the book kind of wraps up with this thought, and it sums up the whole book. The whole, right here. Quote, business as usual must be challenged if relationships are not the foundational piece of school improvement. That's it. If you're not building relationships, if that's not the foundation of your business, then you're not doing it right. You need to think about it. All right, so now I'm going to go over 2 themes that I thought were especially important in the book, or especially close to what I'm doing and what I can apply to me right now. Now, the first theme, I probably heard me emphasize it, is spending those public relation dollars and resources internally, on the internal public, on your staff. I love that. The second is that true parent and community collaboration starts within the school walls, with the students and with building up your staff and using your staff roles like I mentioned earlier. I'm going to hit on that. That one I really liked because it surprised me. I didn't expect it. Okay, so public relation dollars, resources, you got to spend them on your internal public. The authors state that you need to spend about 90% of your public relations, resources, and dollars internally. And I agree. I think this is great. I think it opens up lines of communication, allowing the internal public to know what the school is doing, the expectations of the district, and how to communicate the information of the school and district and the expectations of the school and district to our collaborating partners. Because what that's going to do is lead to a more educated staff. The more you communicate internally, the more educated they are on what's going on, allowing them to be more effective advocates for the kids, which is our primary reason for being there. But also it allows them to be a better advocate for your school and for public schools because they actually know what they're talking about. Now, another reason to have educators educated on the public school system and what you're doing is that the authors point out that there are, I think they had five cities: Philadelphia, Cincinnati, Chicago, Baltimore, and New York. 5 cities that have 33% or more of their public educators sending one of their own children to a private school. They follow this up by saying that the average person trusts teachers more than anybody else to decide which school is the best school. So they look at us, they're thinking, I wonder which school they think is best. They see us sending our kids off to private school, and what are they going to do? They're going to send them off to private school. So it's important. And hopefully by educating for them to be advocates for the school and advocates for the children, that they'll take some of that to themselves internally and apply it to their own life, and then we'll grow as a business. See? Now, the next theme was about true parent-community collaboration starting within the school walls. Now, when I started reading this and I was looking for collaboration project, I thought it'd tell me how to get out of the school, get into community centers, do this and that. It was the complete opposite. It focused a lot on students. And I like this because I think that a major part of making relationships with our collaborating partners, the community and the parents, is utilizing our gateway to the community and the parents, and that's the kids. So by the way we treat and build relationships with the kids, that's the message that's going to go home. So you build bad relationships or no relationships, or the kid doesn't like the school, they're not being successful, that's what the parents get. They're not going to want to collaborate. That's what the community's going to get. You might have a community center that says, I'm not messing with that school because none of the kids are successful. But you focus on the kids and you'll get the other partners. That's why the bus driver, the secretary, and everybody else, custodian, cafeteria worker, everybody else is so important, because we need to build a great, successful environment for the kids. And as a byproduct of that, which is positive, is that we're going to bring in other partners to help. And yes, it's true that a lot of parents already have perceptions on what school is like, because based on what they were like as kids, or what, whatever their life has brought them, they may think it's good or they may think it's bad. But no matter if it's good or bad, whatever messages their kids bring home, that's the message that's going to become their most internalized message, because they care more about their kids' life now than they do about their past most of the time. So that's why we got to send the good messages home, because we're going to bring people in with good messages from their kids. Now, once they get in, you got to keep them in. That's where more of this customer service and this feedback comes. Once you get them into school, you got to not just keep the perceptions good or change their bad perceptions to good, but you also have to get in touch with them and get feedback. What do we need to do? What do you want us to do? That's where the comment cards, and that's where the home visits and the cold calls, and that's where all these ideas that this book presents come in handy, is because once we get them in, we got to keep them inside the walls. Because if we keep them inside the walls, they'll invite us outside the walls to do things in the community. If you understand where I'm going, you build inside, it's going to grow outside. So I loved that theme. I love both of those themes. I thought they were great. Now I could talk for an hour, but I'm not, because I'm looking at my timer. It's about to run out. So I got you. Last thing, school community collaboration plan. I want to do my own community customer service initiative. I want to use these tools that are in this book and other tools I can find in my research that are applicable to this idea to break down barriers of the physical walls present. I want to get the people in the walls. I want to get their feedback. I want to start positive initiatives based on their ideas, and I think that's going to expand us. And when I say that, I'm talking about Scott County High School and the intervention program. It's a very close community. And we do have a lot of parents coming in. We need more. So that's the plan. Take these ideas, break down the barriers at the intervention center, get the kids in there, get the parents in there, get their feedback, go out to their houses, and then that should open up the doors to getting out of the walls and being involved as a community and as a collaborating partner. All right, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed the presentation. I look forward to talking to you more about it.